Yo!
Hey,
Welcome
we're here.
to the show.
The show.
The show.
Because our names start with D, so
DD.
The show.
The show.
Literally.
And today, we're talking about cancel culture and the ripple effects it has on society.
Some shit.
So deep, bro. We about to get so deep inside this rabbit hole.
You can tell because we have a soundtrack this time. Oh.
Bro, we do have a soundtrack. I don't know if you can hear it at home. Let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it.
So, cancel culture. Yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy world out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Twitter beefs and all this.
YouTube
beefs and all that. You got Facebook chickens. It's gnarly.
And some porks. Don't forget about the Facebook porks too.
No, it's truly a crazy world, and I don't know. Stuff's been getting weird. I wanted to mention on YouTube right now, there's like this really crazy war between H3 Productions.
Should we introduce the show?
This is a show.
Yeah. It's the DTV Dysfunctional live stream show. And we're kind of off of it today.
Okay.
All right. YouTube beefs. Don't care. Let's do it.
Listen. So there's this H3 Productions, a really, popular, awesome YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It's got me thinking about this podcast because they're on this platform and they're having this huge drama with this other YouTuber named Keemstar. Mm-hmm. And this Keemstar is it's a drama channel.
Right.
And even H3, they're really funny. I love their skits and I like their podcast, but they've become so kind of dramatized in a way lately.
Being involved in lots of BS.
Yeah. And so now it's they're going at each other, and it's just it's kind of off-putting to me because Keemstar has always been that way, but H3 Productions is mainly a comedy channel.
Right.
And to me, I mean, they're I said, they're more involved in drama and stuff now. But anyways, they're going at each other, and the crazy thing is that's got me thinking about all this is that their fans have kind of made it a huger deal by taking to Twitter and
taking it personally.
Yeah, they're going to Twitter and they're spamming each other's thing and being oh well, I really hate Keemstar. I really hate H3 Productions, blah, blah. And it's kind of overtaking their whole lives where it's just fans doing this huge spamming. And I know this happens to other things too. So
celebrity culture has a lot of that too, where if two celebrities are beefing, the fans just go insane
insane, yeah,
attack each other and try to attack the other celebrity, try to cancel them.
Right, yeah. And it's just crazy. I think that cancel culture is cool in a way.
It can do some good.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, it can do some good.
Having standards as a society for how public figures are viewed and how they are regulated in a way. It's a way to sort of regulate all of these huge analogous people and companies and make them accountable for their actions and stuff. So that can be helpful for people to be
sounds good.
Hey, can we agree that this is not cool and
do something about it, it gives a voice to the people.
Yeah. And the level of cancellation is kind of that's where you get into murkier waters because it's do you completely oust somebody's whole career? Do you ruin their lives over something that they said once, or do you allow them to learn from it and grow from it?
Right.
Because that's where it goes too far when people are well, see you later.
Yeah,
that's basically banish you forever.
That's a big one. Yeah,
it depends on the offense, obviously, too.
Yeah, depends on the offense. if someone said the N-word, which is,
Right.
obviously the N-word
Horrendous,
sucks.
yeah.
Like, it's horrendous. Like, don't say it.
If you're white
Under
or any other.
Yeah, like under any circumstances, if you're white, like it's a bad thing to say, even if you're joking. I still, me personally, I wouldn't joke about stuff like that.
And
But
most people.
But
Yeah.
there has been, like if you're 14 or 13 or whatever on YouTube and you say it, and now you're like 25 or 30 or something, and you said that once, and then people just found out about it, and they're like, your career is over, blah, blah, and you're like way past it in your life, and you're making good art and good points, and you're completely not in that phase of your life anymore. Do you think that it really matters? Do you know what I mean?
Once again, that's where context is important, and like it does matter how old you are and how like the type of person you are when you say or do whatever that is.
Right.
Because everybody was an idiot when they were a teenager.
Yeah. Everybody
was an idiot when they were a
who
tween or
didn't say N or F
or
or
just say use gay.
I said it.
Times are different now. I'm pretty sure that
we
teens
said
are a lot
gay
more PC
like
nowadays.
So much.
Nowadays, back
like
in
it
my
was
day.
never. Yeah, it was never good.
No, but it was.
But like, are we all canceled
more,
now because we said it? You know what
exactly.
I mean? Yeah.
But it was more like acceptable morally and like
it was
societally.
Yeah, exactly.
People didn't really care.
And even N
it's
was
like how
in a way. Like I remember, like you'd be hanging out with your. It wasn't acceptable like in society,
right.
But if you're hanging out with the bros, and like a few ends slip, you just kind of snicker about it, and like it was never good. I'm not condoning it, but like, do you know what I mean?
Cancel you? I think you need to be canceled now. I think you just you're canceled.
Have I just admitted
you associated with people who said the N-word?
We did the
N
N's.
When you were how old?
Bro.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Canceled.
I said some N's when like I remember playing Mario Kart and like I would crash my cart like against the wall or something, or I'd get into, God forbid, like third place.
Oh my God.
Well, from first to
Little
third.
boys, I swear to God.
Yeah, some N's would be flying. But like the point is,
that's not like, who you are anymore.
Exactly, like because
you were like
I
6
said
though too, or something.
Yeah, I was something for sure.
Something.
Yeah. But and so anyways, like it's gone pretty far. And an example with the same example that I was saying earlier, like on the Twitters, like so. Another thing people are doing that I think is crazy is they're going after people's sponsors. Like since you have hashtags and stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, like they'll be like say someone's like sponsored by Coke or something. Like no one's sponsored by Coke, but anyways, example, like they'll use like hashtag Coke and be like, I don't like this person, or they'll completely make stuff up. They'll be like hashtag Coke because that'll automatically put it on Coke's radar, right? And then they'll go like, I can't believe you sponsored this person. He's a racist, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll like the fan base, they'll continue to do that. So basically the whole fan base will do that. So they're like weaponizing themselves just because they don't like somebody.
I think that's kind of powerful though.
But it can be powerful. But I'm saying
it's like consumers wanting their voice to be heard.
Yeah.
And being like, we're not going to buy your shit anymore because of this horrendous thing that this person that you associate with do. Which again, it's a mess.
It's a mess.
Just because you associate with somebody doesn't mean that. Like a good example, not to derail, but people were really upset that Ellen DeGeneres was sitting next to George W. Bush at like a game.
Yeah.
And people were freaking out because she basically was just like, we're kind of like buddies, like not buddies, but she was just like, I can hang out with people that I don't necessarily agree with morally. And it's not the end of the world. And like she said that we talk or whatever. Like, I don't know what she said.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of other reasons that people don't like Ellen DeGeneres, and I won't get into those. But that was one of those things that I felt weird about because I was just like, really? Like, because she was hanging out with a guy, like we don't even know what he's like in real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because you're with someone doesn't mean you agree with every single thing they've ever done.
Yeah, like I mean, I
Like
work.
we have like friends and relatives, probably all of us, that
Yeah,
we're like,
we
you
don't
know,
see eye to eye.
I'm just gonna ignore that part of your past, but we're friends or we're like family or whatever the case
Right.
may be.
I mean, my boss, thinking of you know,
Association.
it's kind of like I'm sponsored by because I'm employed by
Yep.
my boss. Obviously, we work together, and he's Republican,
Trump supporter. Right?
Trump supporter, and
Yeah.
I'm not. But that
there is
doesn't
a difference between a Trump supporter and a Republican.
But that has nothing to do
Hot
with
who
our
he
work
is.
and who he is. I mean,
Yeah.
it does have to do with who he is, but it doesn't have to do with our relationship at all.
Yeah.
Because we just don't get into that stuff. Like,
I would have a really hard time with that.
You know? Yeah.
I know you've probably encountered a lot of those people in your like line of work, but I don't know if I could keep my mouth shut if people were talking about certain things in certain ways.
Well, it's not the platform to talk about that stuff.
But
like,
if they try to, because you said he tries to sometimes, and you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's
especially
just not,
if they ask my opinion, I'd be like, actually,
it's just not the time and place for opinions.
No,
it's the time to get work done.
And at the end of the day, that is true. Like, work is not the time or place for.
I mean, it can be. It depends on
discourse.
What you're doing, but I just feel like I don't have the time for it. I'm not like, But so what I wanted to say, I wanted to jump back into that sponsor thing because I didn't fully
consumers coming to Coke or
hashtag
else.
Coke, that thing, because I didn't fully. I agree that it can be cool to have a voice, powerful, but what I was saying was that the people are making stuff up. They're not saying like, yo, this person did this thing and we don't like that. And why are you searching? Like, they are, but they can completely slander them. Like,
and just lies?
just because they don't like them. Because you got people online that are the kind of people that do this a lot of the times aren't level-headed individuals.
Right.
Sometimes, like, I know that it can be, or
it's people that are just taking out aggression and feelings that they have about other parts of their life.
Right. It's very reactionary, and I think that's the part that hurts, is that you can just react to one little thing, and mind you, that's just your perception of it sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not even necessarily, it doesn't sum up someone's whole character a lot of times. And then all of a sudden you're just spamming this corporation or the sponsor or whatever it is. And the bad thing is that they cannot, even if it is untrue or blown out of proportion from what it is, like if it's real, like, obviously if someone rapes somebody,
sure,
then like it's okay to be like, yo, this person raped somebody, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe prosecute them
that
to
bad,
the full extent of the law.
Rape bad, yes. Okay. We can all agree. Okay. But like, do you know what I mean? But it gets to the point where it's like, I'm trying to think of like an example, but like the fans out there nowadays are gnarly. They just go, well, basically, I just don't like you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with you, even if you haven't really done anything bad. So they go, how could you? Right. I don't like this person. Yeah. Why are you associated with them? They don't deserve this. They don't deserve anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it does get crazy. Sometimes it doesn't, but we're talking about the times that it does. Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing, is I have a really like hard time with cancel culture too, is because like on surface level, you're like, this is good. It can be good. Like the people should have a voice.
Yeah.
We should be able to. I
don't think what you're talking about is even cancel culture though.
But it is.
I mean, I can't even relate to it because I don't really see that kind of behavior online. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't know, man.
Oh, it happens.
But I don't think that's That's
you don't
not
see
that's not
people.
what comes to mind when people think of cancel culture. Because cancel culture is like this celebrity did a bad thing like 10 years ago, and we're gonna.
Well,
shit on
see,
them
that's
for it.
pretty bad too.
Yeah, I'm
That's the
I feel
same
like that's
thing.
that's like more important.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that we like look up to and that are like have all the money and are like in
Yeah.
all of the
No,
entertainment that we
Yeah,
like and
that's
stuff.
along the same lines. Like,
Yeah, I just feel like it's that's the one that's more hazy.
sure, this example
That's
is
the one that's
YouTube, so
more-
people don't think about that as much, or like don't know about
well,
it.
but also
yes.
like doing it just because you don't like them. Like I don't really
see that.
I don't really see that.
Well, I guess I'm bringing stuff to your attention because it's happening. Like,
I don't really do
there's
Twitter, so I don't.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't
No,
see
there's
much of
a
that
there's a
stuff.
whirlpool of people that are just going to town, and it's pretty crazy.
Right.
But even in your examples, like, it does get out of hand, correct? Do you agree with that?
It can,
or no?
yeah. I mean, like the example I gave with Ellen DeGeneres and like a lot of other celebrities where it's like there's a barometer of right versus wrong that like we all need to agree on in order to apply these cancellations or whatever, or to
Right.
make these judgment calls, and especially if it's what we're doing is going to change somebody's life or career. Like we don't want to do it over somebody making a gay joke in 2006 or something. Like
Right.
the world was so much fucking different in 2006.
And that's totally what people do. You know what I
like
mean?
12, it was completely different too. Like it's just the world changes all the time, and that needs to be part of the barometer towards right and wrong, because there is context, whether we want to admit it or not. Like we hate it when boomers are just like, well, it was different times, that's why this movie has a bunch of horrible racial references and gay jokes,
but it's
and
true.
stuff. And we can be not cool with that now, but also understand that there's a context that goes along with it.
But we shouldn't cancel those people now, especially if they've changed. If they haven't changed with the times, then, obviously not good.
Right.
But like, if something happened back when, and now they're obviously a completely different person, I don't understand this mindset where you're like, well, you did something before.
Yeah.
So your whole being is bad.
Mhm.
You shouldn't have it. You should be dead. You should be done. You should be canceled. We should probably, it's a fucking witch hunt. We should probably just burn you alive because you did a bad thing, and I've never done a bad thing.
Exactly.
Me? No.
Everybody can look into their past. Everybody that's talking shit can look into their past and be like, I guess I wasn't a saint forever.
Yeah, no
like
one
when
was.
I was a child or even a teenager, I said some dumb stuff and I believed some dumb stuff. Like, not allowing people to grow and also not seeing both sides of things. So we can like bring the empathy part of this into play. That like Donnie and I were talking last night about it, and like we both kind of are big devil's advocates with a lot of stuff, where we can be like, well, I can see from both sides of perspective, and so it's not so black and white, and it's not so simple, and in a lot of these cases you sort of have to see the big picture, or you have to at least put yourself in their shoes and be like, why would you make this choice or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, why are people the way they are? Like
and it's
you
important
just
to look
said,
at background,
there's
and look
always
at like,
a reason.
Yeah, we were talking about particularly like people that we knew and used to associate with.
We won't name
whatever.
any names.
We won't name names, but it was important for us to sort of look back and see like where they came from and what their upbringing was and what could have caused them to act the way they did, or like was there some deep insecurities involved, or like whatever it is. And that's the same thing with like trolls on the internet. You'll be like, well, and like bullies and stuff, people have always been like, well, it's probably because they're like actually have a sad ass life, or they're like feel badly about themselves that they're doing that. Not to say that what they're doing is right, but that's the thing about the devil's advocate.
But there's a level of empathy.
I'm not excusing anyone any like
bad behavior. Yeah.
And I don't know what the benefit is of knowing and like thinking about that, other than being like,
Well, because I agree with you, like, because you should have a level of empathy, because people are a product of their environment, right? So like to just blanket statement be like, you're just bad because you are different.
Yeah.
is not
Or you're just one
good.
thing or the other. Like stereotypes too, a lot of the times come from something, and that's kind of another thing we're talking about that particular person, where we were just like, I mean, they probably absorbed that from these groups of people, or like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times people just don't know anything else.
That's
And
true too.
and
Exposure.
exposure to
Mhm.
stuff, and maybe
Or
have a
lack thereof.
conversation. Ever heard of that?
Mm.
Heard of it? Because
Isn't always that simple, Donnie. It's not always easy.
yeah,
To
that's not
actually
easy.
get to people and
Yeah,
get on their level and try and
but instead
tear
of
down their walls. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just very difficult.
no, it's very
to do.
difficult and very nuanced, and people are lazy, so they just go, "You
Yeah.
bad,
Well, and I think
I good."
people like simplified answers too. So if you
Right.
can just villainize someone completely, it's
easy.
It's comforting because you can be like,
Yeah.
they're shitty.
Yeah, they're just shit. Simply.
Instead of being like, they did a shitty thing. Being shitty might
Right.
be part of their personality. And then then you have to think about, are there any truly like evil people or any like really, I think about this all the time because I'm like, there's lots of people in society, maybe politics, that you're like, this person's fucking terrible. Everything I know about them, everything I see them do or not do, everything that, you know, can be accessed through a Wikipedia page or whatever, like, even if you can look back in their childhood or you can look back at some of their stuff, like, we don't know them fully still.
Right.
So there could be parts of their personalities or their lives that
Right.
you could look at and be like, I mean,
like Hitler, he had some good stuff.
no, canceled.
Oh, dude, you whacked me in the nose.
That was my goal.
No, but like the dog paintings or whatever, like he had a sensitive side.
I don't think that excuses.
No,
I mean, I don't even know.
it doesn't excuse
anything.
dog paintings. Probably don't excuse Holocaust.
I don't know. People kind of make jokes sometimes about like, oh, if only he had been accepted in like art school or whatever. Like he had other
Right.
aspirations, and if he had been allowed to. We got to Hitler real quick, huh? We're only like halfway through.
Oh,
talking
dude,
about Hitler.
you gotta talk about Hitler. I mean, it's
Well, he's an easy barometer because most
Yeah.
people would agree that he is like
full
the
bad,
definition of evil.
full stop.
Full stop. Yeah. And I would agree with that.
And yeah, and so sometimes
For
people
sure.
are just evil. Like Hitler may be okay to cancel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like
I think that's probably
Ellen
fair.
DeGeneres.
Come on, man.
Little bit different than Hitler.
Not that, I mean, that's
But-
also apples and oranges. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Ellen is not a dictator or anything. Like, it's a completely different sort of barometer.
Yeah.
But zeroed Hitler in 20 minutes. It's a little rough. But
Yeah,
like,
it's a different barometer.
yeah, I guess you would put him on the evil.
You'd be
side of
evil
the scale.
side. But yeah, so the point being, I guess, is that like obviously there's evil people and stuff, but you do need to take a
grain
look
of
at
salt.
people,
Mhm.
you know, and just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you need to be taking to social media and blasting them out of society and ousting them is just simply
Or
because you
even, like,
disagree with them.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like you gotta
Sorry.
think a little bit, and I think just people are so reactionary nowadays, and so like,
Yeah.
and it's just weird
we live
because
in weird times.
yeah, we live in weird times because it's like even the people that I once agreed with a lot of times they've just gone so far to one side
Yeah.
where it's like you can
It's hard to meet
believe on
people
one
halfway.
side. Yeah,
'Cause there is no halfway.
yeah.
I mean,
it's
I
like-
know it's so many people say this that there are tons of people that have this problem and tons of people that probably all belong in the halfway, but they're not as vocal. And that's the whole thing with like the vocal minority. Like in so many communities and stuff, there's always the like loud minority that make the rest of the group look bad. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Trump supporters, there's probably some good apples in there that are
yeah, of course.
back behind him for whatever reason. It's really hard for me to wrap my brain around, but
Hey,
I'm sure.
But they're
I mean, your boss
good
isn't
people.
a terrible person.
I mean, you know, some of them, yeah. It's like just because
yeah, I'm not blaming
because
like,
there's
they
a
are
reason.
good.
I mean, we know the reason. A lot of them,
Yeah, that's
is
true.
because
That's true.
they are thinking that you know he's a
They're
different type of
prioritizing- yeah,
politician,
and they're
or he's a
prioritizing
businessman,
different-
or he's like a
Sometimes people
You
care
know?
more about economy than they do about like social issues
Yeah.
or, you know, safety nets or whatever else is on the other side. I hate the sides.
And you know what? Yeah, the
so
sides.
annoying.
Like the sides shouldn't be. Actually, that's another fair point. Is because like, I'm trying to figure out how to put it, but like I know that there's Democrats and Republicans, but even that, it's like two sides going at each other. It just kind of makes you think like, don't you wish there was a way? This might be dreaming, you know, but like it feels like the correct way would be more along the lines of like, what's good for us? Like, let's try to, even if I believe this and you believe that, like, how can we meet?
Reaching across the aisle.
I know this is dreamy, like I said, like, but there's a certain level of that we can get to at least. Like right now, it just feels like, well, it's my team against your team, no matter what you say.
It's like that podcast we were listening to yesterday. They were interviewing Mark Cuban, who is a billionaire. He's on Shark Tank, and he's like really outspoken about a lot of like political stuff and financial stuff, and he was making some like insanely good points. It was interesting, right? Like I had already listened to it, and I was like, I gained a lot of respect for the guy. But they were kind of talking about how politics are treated like sports in a lot of ways, and that there's like one side against the other, and they're like fighting each other to see who wins, which isn't a productive way to like build a society. Like that's not,
because you're supposed to be right, like
it's a scary
thinking
time
what's
right now,
best for the
half
people,
of the reason,
not what can I fight this person on.
Well, and like,
you know, to
like it's a scary time right now, and a lot of that has to do with the divisiveness. Like people are just
divisive.
They hate each other. Like it's to the point that, and a lot of these issues are so personal.
And it's fine if you disagree, but I think it's the blind hate that is ridiculous.
It's
and
destructive.
That's kind of
thinking that you have to believe this, and this in order to be what I deem to be a decent person.
Yeah.
Or even a Democrat or Republican or whatever. Like people are all like panties in a twist about leftist versus liberal versus Democrat, and like there's so many different subsects that are like, oh, you're like far left, or you're like, you know,
there's just so
like
much
socialist or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a separate thing.
And then like, why is it like?
Because like even within the team, it's team. If we're going to use the analogy itself, there's still different teams, like subgroups of people that still can't agree with each other.
Right.
And it's to the point
that
you
can have two teams, but you're a part of the same league, maybe.
But so what Mark Cuban was saying, which is like I think a lot of people would agree on, is that he would get rid of the two-party system completely. And I don't know what that would look like logistically. And I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible.
How we would go about that and what we would base things off of. If it would just be the person, then I don't know. It's hard to imagine because that's the way it's been for however long we've been in a nation.
I mean, we're of course going to disagree with each other, but it's just also like, okay, here's like an online, it's this community too. Like the same like over the top cancel people for like the politics side of it. It's like the people that are trying to own the libtards or like fuck up the Republicans or whatever the other side of that is. It's like, why think that way? Like, why are you?
It's so spiteful.
Yeah, why are you're going
like
at it in the wrong
agenda should be your agenda
way.
Because it's aligns with your beliefs and maybe like your life, your personal life.
Yeah.
Which is true though with those people's things is that they're like, this person believes and says things that benefit my type of lifestyle or like where I live or the type of economy that is near me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then when it becomes about bashing the other side,
simply bashing one-sidedness, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or almost just doing it just to get out of a rise.
Just to get a rise.
Like literally just to get a rise.
To trolls, basically.
Like it's the troll. Trolls. Yeah, it's like, and cancel culture, we're talking a lot about politics because it does tie in, but like the cancel culture side of it, it is like the same mindset though, where it's like, like a lot of these people are just going after people basically just to get that rise. Like why is that happening? Why are you trying to piss people off? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And also, I think there's somewhat of agenda. There's a lot of sides to this. There's also like
It's nuanced. If we're going
yeah.
politics, it's even more crazy.
it's very nuanced because
but we can try and rein it in a little bit. And
Yeah.
go back to
to the culture of
one
the
more.
cancel.
Yeah.
So where was I?
I know you were gonna make one more point, but I was
Yeah, because there's another like
we have a title.
there's another point to where like people will do it to get out of a rise, like I said, but like it's almost like you can become famous for a hot take, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, so I think that incentivizes people in a way just to have the hot take,
right.
even if maybe that you don't even fully believe in it, or maybe do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like, you know that if you go on social media and have a hot take, it's gonna garner attention, and it's gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna stir the pot, yeah.
Right.
And I think that people love stirring that pot.
Mm-hmm. It's attention seeking.
And so maybe you're not even that invested in what the celebrity or the YouTuber or whatever it actually did, but you're at home, you have anonymity in a certain sense.
Like
or
if you
can
challenge some of these people in their opinions, they might not even have any, they might fold because they're like, well, I don't know, I hate it. Or whatever. Like,
but you know, they like seeing those numbers and they like seeing those reacts and they like being a part of a big fucking conversation or fight, and so that's another weird aspect to it, and I think that happens a lot, you know. And it's just like it's just gotten kind of gross in some subsects, you know. I know that there is parts of the internet that are obviously still good and still you can have a healthy conversation, but it seems like it's really hard to. Yeah. In ways like,
which is sad because you can't get shit done by yelling at each other and like trying to one up each other and own each other, quote unquote. Like it's not productive at all. You can't get shit done.
Yeah. Right. And I find that if you do try to, it probably makes you feel better because like even if you are stirring a pot and getting a rise out of people and stuff, like I know there's like a twisted part of people that like doing that, and that's why they do it. Mm-hmm. You know, trolling's fun in a way, like it's fucking toxic and all that, but like there's a reason why there's so much
people
of it.
Like anger and attention.
Yeah.
Anger is a very powerful emotion and it feels good in a certain way. Like a lot of psych people will say like that anger feels good.
Yeah. And you know, you can take your own problems, like maybe you're unhappy with your life.
Right.
So you're going to put that all caps light on your keyboard and fucking go to town because your wife didn't fucking cook dinner or
she left you or something.
Or she left you, your dog died, and you're an alcoholic. I don't know.
But building
a specific character, but it's usually not it. It's usually you're a teen and you're smelly and you're bored. And you need some fucking attention. But it takes all kinds.
That's a stereotype, but I think it is all over the place. Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of different colors.
There's a lot of them.
And stripes of
a lot of gay folks is what we're saying.
A lot of them, yep.
There's a lot of those. There's everyone.
Oh, stripes, because rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Got it. That's clever.
No, thanks.
Yeah, dog. Totally mean it.
Okay. So, yeah. And then, so another thing that got us thinking about this a lot, I'll just go back to last night, because this is kind of a fun experience.
Very long.
We drove really long. We went on a hike. Time to talk, and we talked a lot. And like, so we basically kind of just based this whole podcast on a conversation we already had. We're like, let's just talk about that.
I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going the fuck off.
I know. It was hard. No, it was great.
That's why I need this platform, you guys.
Go back to last night.
This is a podcast, but it's also just therapy. So I have shit to get off my chest, bruh. But last night was a weird experience. We're on the Cascade Mountain Range, coming back from the Methow Valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just we just had a nice visit with the mom.
The mom.
This one's mom. but
The
she's just
mom.
the mom.
She's the mom.
Because she's a good mom. And good Charlie.
Good Charlie as
The
well.
other
Don't discriminate. The other side.
the other guy.
The other half.
So we're going across this mountain range, right? And it's my favorite drive, just beautiful. Anybody's that's been on the North Cascades can't have anything bad to say about it.
Right.
If you do, you're canceled. I don't care what you say. I know I said all that shit before, but you're fucked. You're going down. I'll hashtag the shiz out of you.
All right.
So we're on that mountain
on
range.
Story.
And we're basically the first responders on this tree that fell because this giant. I mean, it was thin, but
it went
it was
across
very
the whole
long.
road.
It went across the whole road because it must have just fell
and
minutes
Donnie's
before.
like, stop! And I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I barely even.
Yeah, like I just saw it. We're going around the corner and like I go, whoa, what's this? Stop the car! Stop the car! Yeah. And so we stop and yeah, big
Put
giant
the
tree.
on and pulled off to the side.
Yeah, and we're like, what do we do?
A
like
minute goes by.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can keep talking.
Yeah, not a minute goes by. So we're like, what do we do? Like, we're thinking
we'll drag it.
We just get out and try to drag it. We don't know. It didn't look that heavy because, like I said, it was thin.
Yeah.
But on second look, it did go really far. And I think the root system was sort of still like embedded farther than we could see.
It was, like, cracked.
But no one could get across the road. It was, I know this probably happens a lot, but it's weird when you're like the first person there.
Yeah.
You're like literally no one else, and you're out in the middle of nowhere on this mountain range. And so we go, shit, what are we gonna do? I guess let's just try to drag it out of the way and put on the hazards. And then like a couple minutes later, like there's like this truck or a couple trucks and like lifted, like crazy gnarly,
like,
whatever,
huge and like black and kind of dirty,
black bunch of stickers and like crazy, like maybe redneck people are driving this,
right.
And this is where it ties in, is where it's like maybe the contrast between us and them was kind of like we'd probably judge each other. Like these people would judge us without knowing anything about us and be like, yo, this guy's got skinny jeans on and they're driving a Subaru with like kind of a gay license plate or whatever, like rainbow.
Yeah, you can make
stuff.
assumptions.
And you can make assumptions about people, and our assumptions might be like, oh, gross lifted truck.
Like a redneck.
Whatever. They're probably a redneck, like, whatever.
And,
but what happens is they get out, we all come together, and they go, no, I got straps or whatever, I got this truck, and we'll figure it out. A guy freaking flies in with an axe and tries to start hacking it, and the other guy's like, no, I got a truck. And then he was gonna like drive over the tree, but like as he like tries to drive over it, it just literally just pushes the tree like right out of the way. So we're all just like, dude,
I wish I got it on camera because it was so badass.
You did.
I was like, what is he doing? Because I didn't hear any of this, and I'm just like, is your boy just fucking like peace out or something? He's just like, I don't know what was going on, but it was like this big aggressive truck, and it like slid the tree like
literally just
back
pushed
to the side
fucking
of the
tree out of the way,
and it worked.
And it worked, and then he went, and he was all loud, and he just went like, and so that like.
It was just a cool moment.
It was a cool moment because, and it just shows that, like we said, like having empathy towards people, it sort of ties in with that because it's like, we were all like, that dude probably thought I was a huge pussy and I probably thought he was a redneck, but in that moment, it doesn't fucking matter because, and we were all picking up branches and shit together. Yeah. And like, I did some stuff too. Yeah. I didn't have a truck, but, we all just, everyone banded together. It doesn't sometimes matter.
Who's what?
And you might go like seeing that, like, I've seen people go like, does this guy really need this truck? Is that really necessary? Like, what the fuck? Like, who's this guy? He's compensating for a big dick or a small dick. I mean, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we've all made those jokes, maybe. Or I've heard those a lot. And it's like, well, you know what? When a fucking tree falls and the guy pushes it around, he's kind of a cool dude.
He's kind of the hero, honestly, of the whole thing.
So,
like, thanks for buying such an insane, crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
So, anyways, I don't know. It was.
But there
really
was a lot of we got in a conversation just about like, especially like we're from a rural place, and like when we go back we do feel kind of out of place because
Right.
you know there is a lot of that like kind of macho vibes and like redneck sort of, you know, capable. I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but
Yeah, utilitarian,
something like that.
sort of like, you know, like those guys all had Carhartts and, you know, like and the trucks and stuff, and work like they were ready for that situation, and so because that's their environment that they live in, and you know, this isn't like utilitarian. This is just, you know, shit. Like we were sort of. I think we still would have gotten the job done. Like we would have figured it out, but it just. I don't know what my point is. I guess it just shows like because
everybody's different.
Everyone's different, and we know both sides because like we're not city slickers. I mean, we lived in the valley for a long time too and stuff, and like when we lived there, our aesthetic or who we are, it kind of molds you into. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, but like you know what I mean. You're kind of like compressed into a certain way of living because. That's you just the way it is.
Certain groups of people because that's the only people that are there because it's small town and like there's not much to choose from. Not that that's a bad thing. Obviously, you gain a lot of perspective by having different types of friends and stuff, and that's one of the things that I love about the valley. But you were saying like,
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of rambling. I don't know if any of this ties in together, but like
it's just an experience we had last night, and it kind of set off this whole conversation about, you know, assumptions and stereotypes and how. Like, there was this guy that was in a super lifted truck separate from the other guy who had, like, he was tailing me for, like, 20 miles almost and, like, on my ass, but wouldn't pass me. And I was going, like, I'd be going, like, 65. And even, like, if I slowed down to 60, he would still be behind me the same amount. And it was, like, he was tailing me. And he was, like, you know, it felt kind of, like, scary and aggressive and shit. And, like, it might not have been. I might have been making those assumptions. And I saw he had when he eventually did pass me, he had a Trump sticker and shit, and like, you know, and that's another thing that we're like making wild assumptions, but who knows what that guy is really like, you know? Or if it's even a guy, that's a fair assumption.
That's another
could
assumption.
Could have been a woman, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, you go based off of experience and stuff, and like when you meet enough people that are aligned with that like certain stereotype, then you think you know.
Right. You see something and you just go, I know that vibe. I know that person.
Because humans
I don't
like to categorize things too.
Yeah.
That's what like, you know, tribalism and racism and like all
and that's a natural feeling to have. But if you step outside and think, well, you know, maybe they're not bad. At least give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit. Yeah. You can have your initial react and you can have skepticism. Right?
Yeah.
But like don't completely write them off.
Right.
When you know nothing about them. And I think people do that on the internet because they just see something that, you know what I mean? Like you can make those assumptions about somebody, but then you can also fucking start clickety clacking and saying it out loud, you know, and making the presence known, like, you need to let people know that you don't like this and blah, blah, and there's no nuance sometimes.
Right.
And that's
like the theme at the end of the day is that it's all about. I'm sorry. I'm just looking over at our other laptop and it's, we have the meme soundboard hooked up. It's called Meme Sound Machine. I'm like, man, this is not that kind of episode.
Yeah, we got the soundboard hooked up, but it's just like...
And you've got your, like, microphone not hooked up to
this
anything,
thing don't
but
work.
You're actually using it as a soapbox. I mean...
Yeah.
That's the kind of vibe that you're throwing out today.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this isn't really, like, a fun episode, but I think it's a necessary thing to talk about, and it's a good topic. But, yeah, I guess, at the end of the day, just... have empathy and cancel culture pretty gnarly right now. Rape bad, Hitler bad. Be careful on the internet. Don't be too much of a dick.
Don't stereotype people based on their cars.
Try to,
even if they're right.
Yeah.
A lot of the stereotypes you can make about my car.
Go ahead and cancel people in a reasonable manner.
In a productive way.
Try not to just stir the pot and be a dick for no reason.
These are your parents. Hi.
Hey,
Hi. These are all the
please-
lessons that we want you to absorb today, honey.
Please, just be nice out there. Don't be a troll.
Be nice to your friends. And
know?
your enemies. Don't have enemies, maybe.
Don't. I mean, you can have enemies.
You can have, well,
Yeah.
you know what?
You
Just take a
still can
take
have
a little grain of
enemies,
salt,
but
put it in your pocket. Just
Yeah.
carry that around wherever you go.
throw it around your shoulder if there's bad luck
Yeah,
stuff.
if you spill salt.
If you spill it, it's all
Yeah, you gotta
that.
throw it over your
Throw
shoulder.
it, and
Maybe put on a necklace.
we love you.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, that
if you
too.
haven't already.
If this is a bummer, I'm sorry.
why
But we
wouldn't you do that?
gotta get some realness sometimes.
We make funny skits.
Believe it or not.
That's weird, huh?
Yeah.
We don't. This
We
is
have no.
This is a
well, you know
different
what?
thing.
This is kind of like a rant video. We don't really have anything like this, so maybe this is like our way
Yeah.
of letting it out.
We're multifaceted.
Yeah,
See,
dude, so
you
many
thought you
facets.
knew. We didn't know.
You didn't know shit.
Don't make assumptions like that. That's wild.
Subscribe.
Love. Bye. Do the good stuff. Touch the buttons. Touch the buttons. Make the comments.